Hi Arnold, it's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you very much.
Beautiful. And thank you for being here too. Thank you, man. Okay, Arnold, I am quite excited to have you on the show for some reasons. Alright, firstly, I love seeking knowledge. I believe in knowledge seeking now because I believe that in order to transition from a chaotic situation to that of a beautiful one, it takes the application of knowledge, quality information. Okay, that leads to number two. The number two reason why I'm excited to have you on the show is for the sake of the folks who are going to be listening to our conversation. I trust that there are some things that Arnold knows that some of my audience needs to hear you say these stuff, directly from your mouth in order for them to experience transformation. I firmly believe that. And thirdly, that is me. You know, I am convinced that I would learn one or two things from your story, your insight, and your experiences. Okay, Arnold, for that reason, let us get started with your introduction. How the journey has been so far, the challenges that you faced, and how you overcame them. And afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Arnold, over to you.
So what is the question again?
Okay, let us get started with your introduction. How the journey has been so far, the challenges that you faced, and afterwards, now, I have some beautiful questions for you. You got that?
Okay, so your question is what my challenges are and have been. Um, it's already started when I grew up. I grew up in hindsight what we would call a family of many people who had mental illness, but then it was not defined like that because, well, I think there was stigma and it was not so very well known when I grew up. eh. That was my upbringing with my parents and my siblings, and that was very, very challenging. Then later on in my early 20s, I get this very serious car accident. In the beginning of my 40s, my father died. I lost my job. I lost my house. So those were a lot of things all at the same time. Um, then 8 years ago, I lived abroad, but I had to go back to take care of my mother. First, she had some physical challenges, but soon she developed dementia and Parkinson. I had to take care of her, so that was another experience uh, with mental illness. And 3 years ago, I got another very, very severe car crash for which I still have some trauma. So those were some challenges which I had to face.
That must have been so tough on you. And the fact that you are here, and I believe you're doing amazing things now. That shows that you can always come out of anything as long as you're willing to. Okay, so shall we get started with the questions, Arnold?
Yes, please.
Okay, Arnold, I am familiar with body fitness, but you see, I am not familiar with the word brain fitness. So can you talk to me about brain fitness?
Yes, that is the reason why I defined it like that, because most people are familiar with body fitness and they understand you need to exercise, you need to move to stay healthy, to keep healthy, to do the things you want to do. But I realized that we basically stop developing our brain, using our brain by the time we're 25 years old. Right? And after that, we just keep on doing things on you could call it an autopilot. Yeah, and it just continue using and people understand it, but we're not really growing and using. But just like with body fitness, if you don't keep your brain fit and healthy, it will decline. Your cognitive abilities will decline. Your memory, many things will decline for slow. After you're 30 years old, it starts slow, but the moment you get older and older and older, the decline is more steep, and it keeps on going. Whereas many people now in their 70s and 80s have some kind of thing like Alzheimer, dementia, and things like that. So that conform to me is that you need to work on your brain fitness even while you're young, and you need to continue working on it just in the same way as is with your body fitness.
I got that. Okay. So, body fitness now you have to lift weight and exercise and all of those things. So when it comes to the brain fitness now, how do we keep our brains fit? Can you talk to us about that?
Well, part of the things are the same. Yeah? So it's like a healthy lifestyle, like eat healthy food, sleep well, exercise. All of these things are just as they are important for your body, are also important for your brain. However, to keep your brain functioning and even, like I say, upgrade your brain, like you upgrade your phone, your PC, you upgrade it. Well, how many times? 4 times per year, something like that. That is necessary to get more functionality, more better use, better performance, all of these things. I'm also saying that for your brain, you can upgrade your brain. And how do you do that? By two things. In essence, I call it untraining, and the other part I call recreating. Untraining means letting go of beliefs, habits, patterns that are not supportive to you or are not true. And recreating is creating your life, your work, your business, your relationship in a new way. So letting go of the old things which are not supporting you and creating new things which are.
Amazing. I got that. I got that. Oh, I mentioned before we started that I am convinced that I'm definitely going to learn one or two things from you. And that is happening already. Oh man, I love that. Okay, we still have some questions here, Arnold.
Yeah.
What are the causes of mental illness?
Actually a lot. It's not just one thing. It's a lot of different causes. I got a list of something like 15 points. Yeah. Yeah. Part of it is genetically. Yeah. People with bipolar, schizophrenia, and things like that. They have very large genetic component. But there's been, I can share with you, Elisha, a recent global mental health report which states for 23 three main causes. The number one is the social media and your mobile phone. That's number one. Number two is ultra processed foods. And number three are the lack of social connections, because people are only watching the screen, playing games and things like that. So they don't have face-to-face or in real time or connections with other people.
Oh, I got that. I got that. Okay, so what then is mental wellness?
mental wellness is that most, let me put the opposite, mental illness. Mental illness means that's something inside of you. And the word mental is not really a good word, because mental means everything which is going inside of you, which is mental, emotional, spiritual, all these things which are impacting you. So even though we might look from the outside, when we look at our face or our body posture or things like that, that can be different. Yeah, I can look, I can smile and look like, hey, I'm smiling, but inside I'm not really happy. Yeah, so there, mental illness and mental illness is like what is really going inside of you, which is most of the time only visible or only experiential for yourself. Yeah, so mental wellness is the state that most of the time you really feel good inside of your own body.
Oh, I got that. I got that. Okay, so we have two more questions to go. All right. You know, many aged ones would like to be young again. Let's say someone asks you, hey, Arnold, is it possible to slow down aging? What would your response be?
Uh, no, absolutely, absolutely. When I was explaining about body fitness and brain fitness, it means that from a physiological point of view, you start to degrade after you're 30 years old. That is, well, it's not 30 years old, it's 30 years young. Yeah, so it already starts from a very young age. But if you, preferably from that age, whatever, start to work on both your brain fitness and your body fitness, your aging will slow a lot. And you, I totally believe is that we in our society, we need more elderly. We need elderly people who can share their knowledge and wisdom with the young population, because there's so many challenges for the young population. But it's folks like myself who love to share that with the young people. And I can only share that if I keep myself, my body and my brain fit. Most people, and if you can see on the video, most people guess I'm 10 years younger than I am. But that's because I work on all these things every day.
Amazing, I got that. I got that. Okay, now for someone who wants to change from a bad habit to a good one, or the person wants to stop doing some certain things and they just be like, why is change so hard? What would you say to such person? Is it hard to change?
I disagree. I think change is really not hard, and change is a nice thing to do. It's very exciting. It really enlightens your life. It really makes you feel alive again, because you're not stuck in old habits and old ways of doing which you have been doing for 10, 20, 30 years or whatever, and you're kind of stuck in that old way of doing. And by changing, you revitalize your life. And as long as you really want it, that is a prerequisite. If you really want it, if you really want to change, if you really want to grow, if you really want to help other people, whatever, it's not difficult. But you really have to want it. It's not someone else. Most of the time, we have difficulty with change because someone else wants us to change. Yeah, our partner, our parents, our teacher, our bosses. We don't really want that change. But if you really look in the mirror and say, hey, what is the change I want? And because I want it for myself, then it's easy.
Got that. I got that. Okay, Arnold, to bring this to an end, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those ones who would like to reach out to you, learn more about what you do, maybe you said some things that resonated well with them and they would like to learn more. How can that be possible?
Well, the main thing I would leave the audience with, and it sounds simple, but it's not, is start thinking for yourself. Most of the time, from the moment we're born, from the moment we grow up, from the moment we are in the education system or the social system, whatever, we're taught to think like someone else. We're taught to copy the thoughts of other people. That's basically what they do at school, at university, whatever. We're copying what other people have been thinking. So what I encourage people is start thinking for yourself. That's the thing. If you start doing that, whatever, your whole life will get to a much, much higher level. The way to reach me, Elijah, is quite simple. I have a website where you can even make an appointment with me, where you can buy videos on specific topics like aging, like relationships, like emotions. And I have also 2 specific training programs where you can sign up for. And the website is braingym.fitness.
Okay, good. So that's going to be the end of the show, Arnold. Thank you for coming and thank you for, impacting us with this amazing, incredible insight. I tell you, I've learned 1 or 2 things already, and I'm so sure the audience too, by the time they'll be listening to this, they would have learned so many things by now. Thank you so very much, man.
Thank you.